Welcome to Life Stories, where we explore tales that touch the heart and inspire the soul. Today, we bring you an unforgettable journey of a young woman named Sophia, whose extraordinary beauty was both a blessing and a curse. Hidden behind a veil, her life was one of secrecy and loneliness until a powerful bond of love and courage changed everything. This is a story of resilience, acceptance, and the transformative power of love. Stay with us to discover how Sophia's life takes a remarkable turn. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to start this incredible story today. From the moment Sophia was born, it was clear she was different. Her parents, Carol and John, had prayed for a child, hoping for a joyous addition to their quiet life in a leafy New England town. Instead, they were given a daughter whose beauty defied comprehension and carried a curse so devastating it shattered their world. Sophia's birth was both a miracle and a nightmare. The delivery room fell silent as the nurses and doctors turned to see her for the first time. They stared in awe, unable to move or look away. Moments later, each of them collapsed to the floor, lifeless. Only her parents, holding on to each other and their newborn daughter, survived that fateful day. They had no explanation for what had occurred but knew one thing: they had to protect Sophia at all costs. As Sophia grew, her parents kept her hidden. They loved her deeply but lived in constant fear. Every step outside their home, every curious neighbor, every glance threatened catastrophe. Carol took it upon herself to homeschool Sophia, crafting lessons filled with books and puzzles to nurture her mind. Sophia was brilliant, an intellect that shone as brightly as her cursed beauty, but her life was achingly lonely. The world beyond her bedroom window felt like a distant dream. She could hear children laughing and playing on the street below but could never join them. Birthdays came and went, celebrated quietly with her parents, who showered her with love but could not fill the void left by isolation. By the time she turned 18, Sophia's brilliance could no longer be contained. Her parents knew they couldn't keep her hidden forever. They reluctantly agreed she should attend Liberty State University. Though only under strict conditions, Sophia wrapped her face in layers of fabric, leaving only her expressive blue eyes visible. It was the only way to ensure the safety of those around her. Walking onto the university campus for the first time, Sophia felt a mix of excitement and dread. She wanted to learn, to experience life beyond the four walls of her home. But she also feared her curse would follow her. She resolved to focus on her studies and avoid drawing attention to herself. At first, things went as planned. Professors were impressed by her sharp mind, and classmates admired her ability to solve problems that left others stumped. But curiosity, as it often does, became a dangerous force. Whispers followed her through the hallways. Why did she always cover her face? What was she hiding? Rumors spread like wildfire, each one more outlandish than the last. Among those who noticed her was Heather, a self-proclaimed queen of the campus. Heather thrived on drama and had a particular talent for finding vulnerabilities in others. To her, Sophia's mysterious demeanor was an irresistible challenge. "Why do you hide your face, Sophia?" Heather asked loudly one day in the cafeteria, her voice dripping with mockery. "Are you afraid we'll all faint from the sight?" Sophia's heart pounded, but she met Heather's gaze with calm defiance. "Trust me," she said quietly. "You don't want to see." Heather laughed, her voice echoing across the room. "What's the matter? Scared you'll break a mirror?" The surrounding students chuckled nervously, unsure whether to join in or remain silent. Sophia refused to engage further, turning her attention back to her book. But Heather was not one to back down. She made it her mission to humiliate Sophia, her taunts growing louder and crueler with each passing day. Sophia tried to block it out, but the words stung. She had spent her entire life hiding for the sake of others. And yet here she was, ridiculed for the very measures she had taken to protect them. Despite her pain, she remained focused on her studies, determined not to let Heather's bullying derail her. Her resolve was tested when Tyler, one of the most popular and charming students on campus, approached her one day. Sophia had noticed him before, how could she not? His easy smile and warm presence made him a magnet for attention. But she had never expected him to notice her. "Hey, Sophia," Tyler said, sitting beside her in the library. "I've seen you around. You're amazing in class. Mind if I join you?" Sophia was taken aback. She was used to being ignored or mocked, not complimented. She hesitated but eventually nodded, unsure of his intentions. Over the next few days, Tyler made a point of spending time with her, asking about her interests and sharing stories about his life. For the first time, Sophia felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps she had finally found a friend. What Sophia didn't know was that Tyler's kindness was a facade. Behind his charming demeanor was a plan hatched by Heather, a cruel scheme to unmask Sophia and expose her to the world. Tyler's betrayal was brewing. But for now, Sophia allowed herself to hope. She cherished the rare moments of connection and the possibility that her life could hold more than loneliness and fear. Little did she know, the storm was about to break. Sophia began to enjoy Tyler's company more than she expected. His easy laugh and genuine-seeming curiosity about her thoughts and interests felt like sunlight breaking through her grey, lonely world. They studied together in the library, exchanged ideas in class, and sometimes sat under the grand oak tree on campus, discussing everything from literature to science. For the first time, Sophia dared to think she had found someone who saw beyond the layers of cloth and whispers. But the shadow of Heather's influence loomed over their blossoming friendship. Tyler had been a willing participant in Heather's games before, though this time, he hesitated. Heather's plan to unmask Sophia felt different, cruel in a way even he wasn't comfortable with. But Heather had a way of making her demands seem impossible to refuse. "It's just a joke, Tyler," Heather said one afternoon, leaning casually against the door of his dorm room. "We need to know what she's hiding. Imagine the look on everyone's faces when we finally get the truth. You're the only one who can get close enough to her." "I don't know, Heather," Tyler replied, rubbing the back of his neck. "She seems different. She's not like the other people we've messed with." Heather rolled her eyes. "Different? Seriously? You're falling for her whole mysterious act. I bet she's hiding something embarrassing. Maybe she has a scar. Or maybe she's just plain. Either way, we deserve to know. Don't tell me you're going soft." Tyler frowned but said nothing. Heather's words planted seeds of doubt in his mind. What was Sophia hiding? The questions gnawed at him, fueling his curiosity. Meanwhile, Sophia found herself letting her guard down. Tyler's presence made her feel normal in a way she hadn't experienced before. She laughed more freely, shared her favorite poems, and even allowed herself to dream of a life without the constant weight of her curse. But she was also cautious. Every time Tyler grew too close, a small voice in her head whispered, "Be careful. You can't trust anyone." One evening, Tyler invited Sophia to a small study session in his apartment. "It's quieter than the library," he said with a smile. "We'll get more done." Sophia hesitated but agreed. She had grown to trust him, or at least, she wanted to. When she arrived, Tyler had already prepared tea and arranged textbooks and notes on the coffee table. "Relax," he said. "We're here to study, not stress." They talked and worked through equations and essays. And for a moment, Sophia felt at ease. But Tyler's mind was elsewhere. The small vial of sleeping powder Heather had given him burned in his pocket, a reminder of the task he was supposed to complete. As the evening stretched on, Sophia yawned and leaned back in her chair. "You've been working too hard," Tyler said, his voice light and casual. "Why don't you take a break? Here, drink this tea. It'll help you relax." Sophia smiled behind her face covering and took the cup, sipping slowly. The warmth of the tea was comforting, but soon her eyelids grew heavy. "I think I'm getting tired," she murmured. Tyler watched her as she lay down on the couch, her breathing slowing as she drifted into sleep. His heart pounded. He told himself it was just a harmless prank, a way to satisfy curiosity. But deep down, he knew it was more than that. It was betrayal. As the room grew silent, Tyler approached Sophia. His hands trembled as he reached for the knots securing the cloth around her face. With each knot he loosened, his guilt grew heavier. When the final layer fell away, he froze. Sophia's face was breathtaking, beyond beautiful, almost otherworldly. But as Tyler stared, his chest tightened. A strange darkness engulfed him, pulling him into its depths. His vision blurred, and his legs gave out beneath him. Within moments, Tyler lay lifeless on the floor, his face etched with awe and terror. When Sophia awoke and saw the scene before her, she felt a chill run down her spine. Tyler's still body lay at her feet, his eyes wide open but empty. Her heart sank as she realized what had happened. The curse had struck again. Tears streamed down her face as she quickly tied the cloth back over her head. "Why, Tyler," she whispered. "Why didn't you listen?" The weight of loneliness and guilt returned, heavier than ever. For Sophia, it seemed that even fleeting happiness came at a devastating cost. Sophia sat motionless on the couch, her mind racing. The sight of Tyler's lifeless body made her chest ache with regret and sorrow. She couldn't understand why he would betray her trust, why he had to see what she had worked so hard to keep hidden. Tears blurred her vision as she gently reached out, touching his cold hand. "I warned you," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I tried to protect you." The noise from her room quickly drew the attention of her neighbors. The sudden knock at her door startled Sophia, snapping her out of her daze. "Is everything all right in there?" a voice called. Panic surged through her veins as she stood up, glancing at Tyler's body one last time. She opened the door a crack, meeting the curious stares of her dorm mates. "I'm fine," she lied, her voice shaky. Tyler collapsed. "I don't know what happened." The murmurs started almost immediately. Someone pushed past her, entering the room and gasping at the sight. "Call for help," a girl shouted. And soon the dorm was alive with the sound of chaos. Students gathered outside, whispering and speculating, while Sophia stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. The police arrived quickly, their stern faces and probing questions making her feel smaller and more vulnerable than ever. They examined Tyler's body, trying to piece together what had happened. Sophia's parents were called, and soon they stood by her side, their expressions a mix of worry and resignation. They had lived with this fear since the day she was born. At the station, the police questioned Sophia gently, sensing her distress. "What happened?" one officer asked, his voice calm but firm. "Was there an argument? Did he say anything before he collapsed?" Sophia hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. She couldn't tell them about the curse, it would sound absurd. He saw my face," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The officer frowned. "Saw your face? What do you mean?" Sophia's mother interjected, her voice steady but strained. "It's difficult to explain. Our daughter has a condition. Something we don't fully understand. We've tried to protect her and those around her. But it's complicated." The officers exchanged skeptical glances but chose not to press further. After hours of questioning and consultations with Sophia's parents, they concluded that her case wasn't one of criminal intent. Tyler's death was labeled as mysterious but natural, a rare anomaly with no clear explanation. Back at home, Sophia sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her reflection in the mirror. The cloth covering her face felt heavier than ever, a constant reminder of the isolation she endured. "I'll never be free of this," she murmured, her voice tinged with despair. Her mother entered the room, sitting beside her. "Sophia," she said gently, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "I know you feel like the world is against you right now. But you can't let this break you. You're stronger than you think." Sophia shook her head. tears spilling onto her cheeks. He was my friend. Mom. At least. I thought he was. But now he's gone because of me. It wasn't your fault, her mother insisted. You warned him. You've done everything you can to protect people. But you can't control their choices. What happened to Tyler? It's tragic. But you can't carry that weight forever. Despite her mother's reassurances, Sophia couldn't shake the overwhelming guilt. She felt like a walking disaster. Her very existence a danger to those around her. I don't know how much more of this I can take, she confessed. Maybe I should just stay away from everyone. Forever. Her mother pulled her into a tight embrace. Her voice filled with emotion. Sophia. You're my daughter. And I love you more than anything. You've faced so much already. And I know it's not fair. But you can't give up. You have a purpose in this world. Even if it's hard to see right now. Sophia nodded weakly, though her heart still felt heavy. As her mother left the room, she gazed out the window. The city lights flickering like distant stars. Somewhere out there, she thought. There had to be a way to break free from the curse. But for now, all she could do was endure. The following weeks at school were tense. Sophia returned to her classes. But the whispers and stares followed her everywhere. Tyler's death had left a mark. And no matter how much the administration tried to calm the students, rumors spread like wildfire. She's cursed, some would say in hushed tones. Did you hear what happened in her room? He just dropped dead. Others speculated about her face. What's she hiding under there? They wondered aloud. Their curiosity tinged with fear. Maybe it's scarred or disfigured. Or maybe it's something worse. Sophia tried her best to ignore them, keeping her head down and focusing on her studies. She avoided crowded spaces and stuck to the corners of lecture halls. But the isolation gnawed at her. The solitude she had once embraced now felt suffocating. Her only solace came from her academic pursuits. Her professors, impressed by her intellect and dedication, continued to praise her work. In the quiet of the library or her dorm room, Sophia immersed herself in books, escaping into worlds far removed from her reality. But even there, she couldn't shake the weight of her curse. Bella, however, seemed to revel in the chaos. She wasted no time spinning the incident into another weapon for her bullying. Killer girl, she would jeer in the hallways, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Better keep your face covered, Sophia. Or you might cause a school-wide tragedy. The words stung. But Sophia refused to let Bella see her pain. She walked past her tormentor with a calm facade. Though inside, she was crumbling. Each insult felt like a fresh wound. And she wondered how much longer she could endure. One day, as Sophia was leaving the library, Dennis approached her. He was tall and confident. His warm smile disarming. Hey, Sophia, he said, falling into step beside her. Sophia glanced at him warily. She had seen him around campus. He was popular, always surrounded by admirers. Hi, she replied cautiously. I've noticed how hard you work. Dennis continued. You're always in the library or acing your assignments. It's impressive. Thanks, Sophia said. Unsure of his intentions, she kept walking, clutching her books tightly. Dennis didn't seem deterred by her curt responses. Look, he said after a moment. I know people have been saying things. About you. About what happened. But I don't buy into gossip. Sophia stopped, turning to face him. Then why are you talking to me? She asked, her tone sharper than she intended. Because I think you deserve better. Dennis said simply. You're smart. You're strong. And I can tell there's more to you than what people see or don't see. His words caught her off guard. For so long, she had been treated like an outcast, someone to be feared or mocked. Dennis's kindness felt foreign, almost suspicious. I appreciate that, she said slowly. But you don't know me. Not yet, Dennis admitted with a grin. But I'd like to. Sophia didn't know how to respond. She wasn't used to people wanting to get close to her, and she wasn't sure if she could trust him. But there was something genuine in his voice. Something that made her want to believe him. Over the next few days, Dennis continued to reach out. He would sit with her during breaks, walk with her to class, and share small jokes that made her smile despite herself. His presence was a welcome distraction, a ray of light in her otherwise grey world. But the closer Dennis got, the more nervous Sophia became. She knew the danger her curse posed, and she couldn't bear the thought of hurting him. Yet, a part of her longed for the connection he offered, for the chance to be seen and valued for who she truly was. As their friendship grew, Sophia began to wonder if she had finally found someone who could break through her walls. But deep down, she feared the cost of letting him in. Would Dennis's kindness survive the truth of her curse? Or would he, like Tyler, pay the ultimate price? Despite Sophia's reservations, her friendship with Dennis blossomed. He had a way of making her laugh, his carefree nature lightening the weight she carried. For the first time in years, she felt a semblance of normalcy, even happiness. But with that happiness came fear, a gnawing worry that her curse would ruin everything. Dennis was different from anyone she'd ever met. He didn't pry into her past or question the cloth that covered her face. Instead, he focused on their shared interests, often engaging her in debates about literature or science. He seemed genuinely fascinated by her intellect, which made her feel valued in a way she hadn't before. One afternoon, as they sat under a tree on campus, Dennis turned to her with a curious smile. "Sophia, can I ask you something?" Sophia tensed. She had been dreading this moment. "Depends," she said cautiously. "Why do you always cover your face?" he asked, his tone gentle. "I'm not asking to judge you. I'm just curious." Sophia hesitated, her heart pounding. She had avoided this question for so long. But she knew it was only a matter of time before Dennis asked. "It's complicated," she said finally. "It's not something I can explain easily." Dennis nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Okay," he said simply. "You don't have to tell me if you're not ready." His response surprised her. She had expected him to push for answers. But instead, he respected her boundaries. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything to her. "Thank you," she said quietly. As the weeks passed, Sophia found herself opening up to Dennis in ways she hadn't with anyone else. She told him about her love for astronomy and how she used to spend hours staring at the stars. She shared stories about her childhood, carefully avoiding the darker parts of her past. And Dennis listened intently, his eyes lighting up whenever she spoke. But not everyone was happy about their growing friendship. Bella, still seething from her failed attempts to humiliate Sophia, saw their connection as another opportunity to stir trouble. "What's the deal with you and the freak?" she sneered one day, cornering Dennis in the hallway. Dennis crossed his arms, his expression cool. "Her name is Sophia," he said sharply. "And she's not a freak." Bella scoffed. "Oh, come on. You can't seriously be interested in her. She's hiding something. Why else would she cover her face?" "That's none of your business," Dennis replied. "And for the record, Sophia is 10 times the person you'll ever be." Bella's face flushed with anger. "You'll regret this," she hissed before storming off. The encounter only strengthened Dennis's resolve. He refused to let Bella's bitterness ruin what he had with Sophia. But as much as he tried to shield her from the negativity, he couldn't protect her from the doubts that crept into her mind. Sophia often found herself lying awake at night, replaying the events of the day. She cherished her moments with Dennis but couldn't shake the fear that her curse would hurt him. She thought of Tyler and the lifeless expression on his face, and a chill ran down her spine. One evening, as they walked back from class together, Dennis stopped suddenly and turned to her. "Sophia, I need to tell you something." She froze, her heart racing. "What is it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I care about you," Dennis said, his tone earnest. "More than just as a friend." Sophia's breath caught in her throat. She had sensed his feelings for a while, But hearing him say it out loud was both exhilarating and terrifying. Dennis. You don't have to say anything, he interrupted. I just want you to know how I feel. And no matter what, I'm here for you. Sophia looked away, tears welling in her eyes. She wanted to believe him, to let herself feel the same way. But the weight of her curse loomed over her like a shadow. Could she take the risk? Or would her love for Dennis lead to his undoing? Sophia couldn't sleep that night. Dennis's words echoed in her mind, filling her with a mix of warmth and dread. She had spent years shielding herself and others from the curse. But now, for the first time, she questioned if it was worth it. Could she ever truly let someone in without risking their life? The next day, Sophia decided to confide in her mother. Sitting at the kitchen table, she recounted her conversation with Dennis. Her mother listened carefully, her expression a blend of concern and understanding. Sophia, she said softly, I know how much this means to you. But you need to be careful. You've seen what can happen. I know, Mom, Sophia replied, her voice trembling. But I don't want to push him away. He's the first person who's ever made me feel normal. Her mother reached across the table, placing a reassuring hand on hers. You deserve happiness, my love. But you also have to protect him. If Dennis truly cares for you, he'll understand your boundaries. Sophia nodded. Though her heart remained heavy, she wanted to believe her mother's words. But a part of her feared that the curse would never let her live a normal life. Underscore 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 underscore. At school, Dennis noticed that Sophia seemed distracted. He approached her after class, his brow furrowed with concern. Hey, he said gently, are you okay? Sophia forced a smile. I'm fine. Just a lot on my mind. Dennis hesitated before speaking again. If there's ever anything you want to talk about, I'm here. His sincerity was disarming. And for a moment, Sophia considered telling him everything. But fear held her back. Instead, she said, thank you, Dennis. That means a lot. Their friendship continued to deepen, much to Bella's frustration. She watched from a distance, seething as Dennis and Sophia shared quiet laughs and walked together between classes. Determined to tear them apart, Bella hatched a new plan. One afternoon, as Sophia sat alone in the library, Bella approached her with a smirk. Well, she said, her voice dripping with mockery. Look who's stealing all the attention. Sophia looked up, her expression calm. What do you want? Bella feigned innocence. Oh, nothing. Just thought I'd warn you. Dennis won't stick around forever. Boys like him don't go for girls like you. Sophia's heart sank, but she refused to let Bella see her hurt. Thanks for your concern, Bella, she said evenly. But I'm not interested in your opinions. Bella's smile faltered, but she quickly recovered. Suit yourself, she said, walking away. Just don't say I didn't warn you. Sophia tried to shake off Bella's words, but they lingered in her mind. What if Bella was right? What if Dennis eventually realized she wasn't worth the effort? Underscore 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 underscore. As graduation approached, the pressure intensified. Sophia focused on her studies, determined to finish strong. But the weight of her emotions grew heavier each day. She avoided Dennis whenever she could, fearing that her feelings would betray her. Dennis, however, refused to give up. One evening, He found her sitting under their favorite tree, staring up at the stars. He sat down beside her, his presence a quiet comfort. "Sophia," he said after a long silence. "Why are you pulling away?" She didn't respond at first. Her gaze fixed on the sky. Finally, she said, "I don't want to hurt you, Dennis." He frowned. "Hurt me? How could you ever hurt me?" Sophia took a deep breath, her hands trembling. "There are things about me you don't know. Things that make it dangerous for you to be close to me." Dennis reached for her hand, his touch steady and warm. "I don't care what secrets you have, Sophia. I care about you. And I'm not going anywhere." His words broke through the walls she had built around herself. For the first time, Sophia felt a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, she didn't have to face her curse alone. As the sun set on Sophia's graduation day, she stood tall and unmasked, her radiant face no longer hidden by fear. Her classmates, once curious and skeptical, now admired her bravery. Dennis stood by her side, his unwavering love shining through every glance he gave her. Sophia had overcome the curse, not by hiding or running, but by embracing who she truly was and trusting in the power of unconditional love. Her journey had been filled with pain, doubt, and struggle, but it led her to the most profound lesson: self-acceptance and courage could conquer even the deepest fears. As Sophia walked into her new life, she felt free to love, to dream, and to live without limitations. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, and subscribe to Life Stories for more unforgettable tales. Stay tuned for our next adventure.